New Artist Spotlight Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the New Artist Spotlight Podcast. And I'm very excited to introduce a guest today who, actually, a guest I've met in person. He was given the birth name of Gordon, but we know him a lot better as the legend, Go Birch. Welcome to the show, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Wilko. Lovely introduction.
Nice to see you again, man.
Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you when I did get the chance to meet you. It makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Oh, mate, I really appreciated it. You travelled maybe 100 miles to come to Otley to come and see me. Really appreciated it, man. It was great to meet up with you and nice to have a familiar face in the crowd. And I know you've met Charlie Smith recently as well, haven't you? And you're quite active in the whole New Artist Spotlight community.
Well, to be honest, seeing you and seeing Charlie Smith are the highlights of the last couple of years, because we've been very locked down here with COVID. My wife Jane's mother is getting on in years, so we locked down totally to protect her as much as possible. So yeah, getting out to see you and to see Charlie Smith up in Liverpool, absolute highlight of my year. Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing, man. Yeah, that's class. It was a big highlight of my year as well. Felt like I was sharp that gig. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. So for anybody who doesn't know Go Birch, do you want to sort of describe in your own words who you are as an artist?
I'm just a singer-songwriter. I got into writing very late and got into sort of music very late in my life. But now I'm absolutely loving it, and I think New Artist Spotlight is part of that. But I've got so much going on at the moment. It's crazy, and I'm just having a wonderful time with every aspect of it. But I didn't pick up an instrument until I was 27 before I played anything.
What instrument was that? What did you start with?
Guitar, I think. Yeah, I started writing lyrics. I was in the record industry for many years, and so I was surrounded by music and deeply involved in music from being a teenager. But it was always the commercial side of it, and I never thought. And to be honest, all the artists I met and all the people that already signed to labels, I thought they were some sort of gods. So when I saw bands and people playing guitars and standing there and banging out songs, I just thought, I couldn't believe it. I thought I could never do that, never ever could do that. And it was only in the last couple of years before I left the industry when I got talking to a few people, and I shared an apartment with a band in London for a while. And I started, once I was living in London, I started going to the studios more and spending more time and rehearsal rooms. And I just started to ask the odd question, how do you do that? And how do you find your way around a fretboard and that sort of thing? And a couple of people shared their knowledge, and I thought, maybe one day. And then I started writing some lyrics, and took it from there. What's the guitar? My first guitar lesson, there's a story. If I drop too many names, have a go at me.
No, names are always welcome to be dropped on this podcast. Don't worry about that.
I'm going to start off and drop one early on. I was in a studio with a band, and we were just talking, and I went through the, you're a god. How do you do that bit? And he says, it's not that difficult. Pick that guitar up over there. So I picked this guitar up, and so this song we're doing, he said, it's a C, do this. And then it just goes to G, do that. And I'm doing that. And okay, C to G. And then what we're doing, he just showed me a couple of chords. But that was Glenn Tilbrook's guitar.
There you go. What's next? Who's the next one? Can we have a sneak preview?
Well, I'll try and keep them to a minimum if I can.
Yeah, no, that's last minute though. So you got into songwriting, and then you've I've noticed all your music on Spotify has been released in the last year. So I imagine you've been writing and recording for a few years, and then you've started dropping them, or how's that working?
Yeah, so I've got a few props. So I've been digging through the garage today, And what I've got here, there's some cassettes. These cassettes are the very, very first recording sessions I did. So it was a friend called Phil Middleton in Birmingham. And I went to his flat with some lyrics, just some sheets of lyrics. And I said, Phil, I've got these lyrics and I don't know what to do with them. And Phil got his guitar out and I said, and he goes, well, what's this all about? And I said, well, it kind of, I think it goes something like, and he just started playing them and started singing them. And I'm just sitting there going, what? What? How? And we did, on this first cassette, we did 5 songs in that first night. And that was started, it was 86. So I've been writing since 86. This is my efforts. That's 84. No, 84 I started the lyrics. Those are my lyrics from 84 to about 94, I think. That's volume 1. That's volume 2. Lyrics. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all by hand. Very nice.
All those are by hand. These I call the black one I call my typewriter years. So tons of lyric sheets, all typewritten. And then I went, I bought an Atari computer, 1080, which was MIDI and a MIDI keyboard. And I started putting songs together on MIDI. With all these props you get, you don't get props very often, do you?
We don't usually have a show and tell on the podcast, but I do appreciate this very much, man. And I remember those old floppy disk cases myself.
Steinberg Pro 24 was the one I used. So
couldn't you get about 2 megabytes on there or something like that?
1.5, I think.
1.5, yeah.
So tons of songs from that period. That's it. And then what happened? So those are the old days. And then obviously you either got a record deal or you put it out a cassette. And later you could put out a CD and do it yourself. And we did a couple of that and joined a band who released 2 albums. And we recorded that on my Fostex 8-track. I had an 8-track machine with a 1/4-inch tape reels. And we did all the early recordings on that, 2 albums worth. So that got me through most of the 90s into the noughties, and I was pretty much done then in terms of how do you release something. And so it was only when Spotify started and I started to learn a bit more about that, when I wrote a song and I played it to a friend of mine who was an artist in the 80s and he's had some chart success. And he said, you know what, Go? He says, this is the best song you've ever written. And I went, seriously? And I said, yeah. And it was the Christmas song, which just been out this Christmas. So I said, do you think, is it good enough? And he said, yeah, it's the best thing you've ever done. If ever you're going to do something, do it now. So I did the research on Spotify, and obviously this is the summer of 22. And I went for it. And I got that out just on time in November. And then I started doing the research. I said, well, what do you do? How do you make this Spotify thing work? And Spotify said, you have to release something every 4 weeks. And I thought, okay, all right, well, let's do it. So I did. And I had this plan. And everybody I spoke to, my daughter, my son, my friend John up in Liverpool, he said, what's the plan? I said, I'm going to release everything as I've written them. I'm going to release everything in chronological order. And he went, no. I went, why not? I said, well, you're starting from year dot. You've got better stuff. And I said, yeah, but I've got no listeners. I've got 0. Just started on Twitter, 0 followers. I'm following 0 people. Just releasing a single on the Christmas single. It's a Christmas single. No listeners. Nobody's ever heard of Go Birch. What's the point? What's the point in throwing something really good out and to have no listeners? I said, at least it's a Christmas single, so it might pick up some play because of the time of year. So we went that route. followed it up in January, 4-week plan, and January 19th, I found NAS. And it was like, what's all this? And it's like, there's a community of people in the same situation as you, trying to get in front of other people, trying to get the songs heard, get involved. So I did. And I think that really it's made a huge difference for me. I understand the struggles that everybody's going through. So it doesn't make light of what I'm going through. And it also showed me that my plan was completely flawed, because I started listening to yourself. First people I listened to was yourself. Eleanor Collides, I think, were the first two people I discovered. And I thought, damn, these people are good. And then you start looking at other artists and you go, they're good, they're good, they're good. I'd like to find someone who's sort of at my level, not so good. But I couldn't find anyone. Everybody's just brilliant on the New Artist Spotlight. So I'm thinking, I've got a flawed plan here. I should perhaps be looking to get some better stuff here. And then, boom, I heard the EP by Emily Gray. And again, it was like, Jesus, where do these people come from? How are there so many good people in this one community? And I had this song that I'd written 15 years before, I Just Want the Money. And I've always known the voice that I wanted for it. And I'd never been able to find anyone. And I listened to Hope and I went, oh, this is the voice. This Emily Gray is the voice. Then she got nominated for the NAS Awards. And I thought, oh, that's it, no chance. And Jane said to me, she said, well, ask the question. So I banged off this sort of 6-page tweet message to her saying, Emily, you're the best in the world and you're probably not going to be interested, blah, 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 blah. You got your awards coming up, you're great, all the rest of it. However, what do you think? And she just came back and went, yeah, whatever, send it over, let's do it. And we did it, and it's without question the best thing I can put my name to because of Emily Gray. And of course, my plan then went out of the window. It was a case of I've got these 5 songs lined up now for the rest of the summer. They're not good enough, so I've got to step my game up. So I sat down with Neil, my son, and Holly, and said, "Look, what do we do?" And Neil said, "Well, we just bring things forward, get next year's out now." So I said, "Yeah, but we got to follow. I Just Want the Money up with more pop. It's got to be poppy." So we had a look at what we got, and we followed it up with Yesterday, and then we worked on Swift, and Holly did the vocals for Swift with Neil, and.
You're answering all my questions here in one.
This is good. I mean, keep me at any time, but but this is how it happens. So
yeah, it's good, man. No, you preempted so many things I've written down. I was going to ask you about.
It's fairly natural to go through the story, but Swift was a nightmare. It's one of my favourite songs lyrically. Songs are all about the lyrics to me. But we had a nightmare with it because we couldn't get it right, because I write them, I demo them, and I send them up to Neil, and Neil with a guide vocal on, and Neil goes, "Great, thanks, Go Dad. I'll don't worry. You got me guide vocal? Yeah, I did. Don't worry about that, Dad. You know, I don't worry about the vocals. I saw that." And so he sent Swift back, and it didn't. I don't think he even listened to my guide vocals. He just did what he liked. I said, I don't know what to do now. You like changed the song completely. So I had to strip it out, rewrite it. I tried changing the drums, but I ended up actually just keeping the vocals and starting again and rebuilt the song. And then I went, and Holly's voice isn't blending with Neil's voice. I'm in trouble here. So I sent it to Emily and said, Emily, I'm sorry, but can you do another one? And Emily came back and said, well, hang on a minute, you got a girl vocalist on that and she's great. So, why am I kicking her off? I'm not kicking another vocalist off. And I said, no, it's the blend. It's the blend. I need your voice for the blend. I said, Holly's fine with it. She loves it. She loves you and she really wants you to do it. So, and they said, okay. So, of course, then we put some vocals on, sounding better, send it back up to Neil. And Neil goes, hang on a minute. I think I need to redo my vocals. Oh, God, no. So he redid his vocals, rebuilt the song again, and we just about got it out on time. That's the biggest sweat I've had on in terms of recording since I've started. But now we're on track now, I think, and hence the reason you've asked me a couple of times to come on, and I think now it's probably the sensible time to say, yeah, okay, that's behind me. This is where we're at. It's phase 2. Hopefully the NAS community will go, oh, your songs are getting better. You're starting to sound like one of us. That's what I'm hopeful of. But the proof's in the pudding, so we'll take it from there. Ask me a question.
Oh, right. Oh, a question. Okay, right. Let me see. Right. Let me just have a look at my notepad here. Okay, you've mentioned that. Let's talk about the song that we're going to give a spin to today. So Holly's song, "When I Hold You," because I watched the video. I watched the world exclusive that you sent me a private link to, and I loved it, man. It's such a nice song, like, to see that you have written that kind of ode to your daughter. Yeah, it's beautiful, man. Really enjoyed it. Reminded me a little bit of a song that my own dad wrote for his granddaughter. My dad's a little bit like you. He's quite an emotional musician. He puts a lot into his lyrics. Like, a lot of your songs are quite heartfelt. They're very expressive. And I think it comes across that you're a guy who is, kind of, you've got all this stuff that you want to get out of you and pour out and give into the world through your music, which is a really nice quality that you have. So talk to me about this song and why it was important for you to write it now and anything in your words.
Okay. Your dad's Bill?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Bill. Did you meet him at the gig? Yeah.
I met him yes, I met him at the gig, and I did that crappy reaction video to your wonderful video.
No, I enjoyed it.
I was so embarrassed with that, so stiff. But this lovely comment popped up on my YouTube channel saying what a genius Wilko Wilkes is, or what a fantastic lyric writer.
He's my biggest fan.
And I thought, oh, this is really nice. And then I got to the end of it. I may be biased because I'm his dad, Bill. And I thought, okay, nice one, Bill. Yeah. So So I didn't send it to you because I thought you're probably aware of it.
Yeah, he texted me about it actually. Yeah.
So I'm not great one-to-one. I think emotionally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I think songwriting is an outlet, and so I do get very personal on my lyrics, and particularly I think on this set that's coming up, that they are a little less commercial, a little less effort's gone into making them as commercial as possible, and focusing on the lyric side of it and getting some stuff out that I wanted to get out. And this is actually one of the cheery ones, when I Hold You, because yes, it's about being a father. And it's about the difficult side of being a father in terms of it can be painful in terms of some of the emotions, some of the fear. It's about the fear of loss mainly, and I don't know what you thought about it lyrically, because the line goes, "When I hold you, it's like holding guns to my head."
Yeah, it's very stark imagery, and it made me think, because I was like, that sounds scary.
Yeah, and I didn't know if it was going to fly. Again, I've had the conversation with Holly and with Jay, my wife, and Neil and my friend John, and they were all a bit. Yeah, it's a bit close to the knuckle. I don't, how is it going to how are people going to react to it? So I don't know. Your reaction's been positive.
Yeah, it's raw, man. It's raw. I think it's it's good to be honest. I think a lot of people, like I do some work with Andy's Man Club, men's mental health charity, and a lot of people I think can benefit from just being as real as possible and trying not to worry about what other people are going to think of their feelings, or you know what I mean. I think it's good that men do talk more about their feelings, and
but only through song.
Very authentic, man. All your music's very authentic.
Thank you for that. What I'm trying to get better at, because as I say, it's all about the lyric for me, and I'm trying, and I think up to a point, the music has always been about, right, I need some music that's going to carry this lyric, and once I've got it, working within my limitations in terms of what I can do musically. I've always been happy to go, yeah, okay, that'll do it. And it's only since I think probably the Christmas song and a couple of these newer ones where I've started to go, yeah, I can make the music better. And up till now, I've not worried about that too much. I've gone, yeah, that's okay. That's bobbing along quite nicely. And yeah, it's 4 chords, but yeah, the decent 4 chords that'll do. And I've banged them out. So I'm trying to get better musically as well now. And we'll have to see. And in fairness, you probably won't see. I'm sort of in album 2 territory now. This is kind of the first track from album 2. We're working on album 3 and 4. And I'm also involved in a couple of other projects. I've never done so much music in my life as I am at the moment. It's constant, and I'm absolutely loving it. And I think I'm getting better. You know, today, and I'm going off track here. I'm going off this particular song. But today, I've been doing some lead guitar work on one of Neil's songs. And this is Neil's, and this again, this is album 3. And Neil said, I've written some lyrics, and I've never done other people's lyrics. I've never done a cover version. I've never even played a cover version. And Neil said, I've done some lyrics. Do you want to have a listen, and maybe we'll incorporate them into the Go Birch stuff? So I did. I listened to they're amazing lyrics, Neil. It must be genetic. It must be something in the genes. I didn't know lyric writing could be passed on in this way, but yeah, great job. What do you want to do with them? And he said, do what you like with them. He said, you put some music in, do what you like. So I thought, well, this is an opportunity for me because I'm trying to grow. So I threw my sort of normal processes out of the window and said, right, I'm just going to go electric guitar, electric bass, find it and write on those, and just get some drums and then write whatever I fancy. So that's pushed me, because I'm not a great guitarist, despite Ken Tilbrook's input. But that's the way I've gone. So I spent all day today trying to come up with a lead on one of his tracks. And I'm thinking, do you know what? It'd be quicker to ask someone in NAS to do this, because they do it like that. Whereas me, it's taken me all day to come up with like 2 bars that I think, yeah, I've got something now, I can work on that. So it's difficult. But back to your question, yeah, Holly's song, I find it difficult because although this is released in January, it's still a little bit historical for me, because I started writing the lyrics in 2002 when Holly was 2. I started putting together the music together when she was 10, and that's when I finished the music, and most of the video is from when she was 10. But again, didn't come to life until I gave the music to Neil and said, look, here's the lyrics son. And I don't think I'd even done a guide vocal for that one. I just don't think I could get anywhere near what I wanted. And Neil came here and did the vocals for that. And the first take that he did, I was just like, how'd you do it? Because it's exactly what I wanted, but I can't get anywhere near it. And so, my kids have really pushed me on. Holly's 22 now, and musically, she's got everything. She's got ears. She can hear things. She can pitch perfectly. She plays guitar. She plays trumpet. She plays clarinet. And she really helps me. And if I had her by my side the whole time, it would take me to another level. Because just the few minutes I get with her, she's at university at the moment. So for the last 3 years, I've lost her. I blame her mum for that. She's up doing medicine. If I had my way, she could have been the number one goalkeeper for Finland, but her mum wanted her to go to university. So what do you do? She could be working on her third album now. But yeah,
killer. All right, so let's introduce the song then. We'll give it a spin. So do you want to do the honors?
Yeah. So this I class as day one of my songwriting phase. So I'm hoping that people will get it and people will like it. It's a very important track to me, as we discussed emotionally, and it's called "When I Hold You," Holly's song.
Carries my heart on a butterfly's wings. Your kiss feels like a note that the angels sing. Your smile warms my blood like the sun in spring. And your love lifts me up to where I know Zeus is king. And when I hold you, it's like I'm holding a gun to my head. And if I lost you, I'd be losing myself and I'd be better off dead. And when I hold you, it's like I'm holding a gun to my head. And if I lost you, I've been losing myself and I'll be better off dead. You are my light, you illuminate me. You are my fire when the whole world is hating me. You are my light, you are my treasure, you are the joy that nothing but nothing can measure. And when I hold you, it's like I'm holding a gun to my head. And if I lost you, I'd be losing myself and I'd be better off dead. And when I hold you, it's like I'm holding a gun to my head. And if I lost you, I'd be losing myself and I'd be better off dead. And I'd be better off dead. I loved you the first time I saw you, and I love you still. Markers of life like blinks of an eye. First step, first word, first grace that makes you cry. And when I hold you, it's like I'm holding losing myself and I'll be better off dead. And I hold you. It's like holding a gun to my head. And if I lost you, I'd be losing myself and I'd be better off dead. I'd be losing myself and I'd be better off dead. I'd be losing myself and I'd be better off dead. And I'd be better off dead. And I'd be better off dead.
Okay, thank you for letting us play that, mate. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the video. I'm sure that'll get a lot of watches. So, yeah, what's that T-shirt you're wearing, by the way? I've been wondering that one.
I'm glad you asked me that because I'm wearing it for marketing purposes. This is a Christmas present, which I asked Santa for, and it's 1,000 clocks. Are you aware of 1,000 clocks?
Yeah, they're pretty recent in New Artist Spotlight. I've seen their name.
They joined a week ago. I don't know how much to give away, but if you don't know 1,000 clocks, you do need to check them out. They're the best pop band in the world, and check them out because you'll be surprised who the lead singer is. It's another New Artist Spotlight lead singer.
Right, I'm going in on that. I'm going to check that out as soon
You're
as
doing it now?
I'll do it as soon as we finish this podcast.
Okay, well, I'm asking everybody to do it. They have just joined. So can I do a bit more marketing while I'm on?
Of course you can, mate. The floor is yours to plug whatever you like. What's it going to be?
Because this is what New Artist Spotlight's all about. Isn't it?
Oh, there we go. Charlie.
There you go. I've had this one personalised on the back as well.
What does it say on the back?
It says on the back, my favourite wife of Henry VIII is Catherine of Aragon.
Does it really say that?
Yeah. So now you're going to have to come up with something fresh at the end, aren't you?
I'm going to have to, yeah. You got me, yeah. So I think you've just alluded to something that I was actually feeling in the air as well.
Well, you've got 15 seconds to come up with a new question to replace the Henry VIII one. Because you know what happens if you don't do it in the time, don't you?
Oh dear, why do I feel like the tables are turning on me? I do, yeah, I do, you're right. This is disappointing. Please, one step back.
Is this where we're going?
Yeah, that's where we're going. Either into jubilation or straight to the depths of hell. So we'll see. This is a quick 5-5. Let's go. Question 1. What is your favourite song of all time?
I should have put a timer on, shouldn't I? Gosh, you caught me there. My benchmark in terms of the first single I bought was I Think I Love You by the Partridge Family. And it's not necessarily my all-time favourite, but it's always the one I come back to whenever I'm writing. I'm always thinking, is it as good as I Think I Love You by the Partridge Family? It's a classic pop song.
Okay. Question 2, and I'm sorry to say that you have been banished and banned to hell for all.
No, it was 14 seconds. You play that back.
Oh, it wasn't. It was a lot more than that, I'm afraid. But you still get to answer the next 4. So question 2 is, what is your favourite song from the New Artist Spotlight playlists?
I don't want to stay trapped in my head, although it's up there. Chasing Ghosts, Breathe Out Grace, Eleanor Clyde's are both up there, but I would probably have to say Tsunami, Emily Gray.
Excellent choice, yeah.
It stacks up to I Think I Love You by the Partridge Family.
Nice. Question 3 is, if you could see any band live, who would you see? A band that you haven't seen live.
The best gig I saw was Rainwolf. I saw them in Liverpool about 2 years ago. I'd like to see them again. Talking Heads would probably be the band that I haven't seen that I'd like to see. It's not going to happen, but does it matter that it's not going to happen?
That's a great shout, man. That's a great shout. Yeah, I'd love to see Talking Heads live as well. Question 4. You've stumped me on this one. Question 4. Okay. Question 4, you say 15 seconds. Question 4, I've got to think of a question. I'll get banished from... Oh, no. Question 4. Oh, it's coming. It's coming to me. It's coming. Question 4. What would it be? Okay, if you are ill, what is your go-to meal?
My go-to meal most of the time is either cheese or chicken. They're my go-to meals pretty much any time. Cheese, chicken, and custard tarts. If I was ill, I'd probably go for the chicken soup.
Very nice, mate. And finally, if you could spend a day with any new artist spotlight artist, who would you spend the day with?
Depending on my mood, I'd quite like a pint and a burger with Michael down in Australia from Mixed Reaction. The person who, and again, because I'm not the most outgoing person in the world, I think someone who comes across as possibly being similar to me and a really nice person would be William Lovett.
Great guy. We've had him on the podcast. Yeah, I had a good chat with him.
He comes across as a proper gentleman and someone you could have a great conversation with and talk with the music, and nothing's going to get too heavy and you're not going to get threatened with hell.
Well, I'm afraid, I'm pleased to say that the Quickfire Fire is over. However, I'm afraid to deliver the news that you failed on almost all of those questions. And you have, in fact, been banished to hell. However, I failed on question 4, so I have also been banished to hell. And we're now both banned from this podcast forevermore.
New Artist Spotlight Podcast.
But because Origin's not here today, if that was to happen, then the podcast would fall apart. So for this episode only, I'm reinstating us both and saying that we've got a bye.
Well, I was going to say, regardless of whether I got a bye or not, that you've certainly got my royal pardon, because much as I've missed Origin tonight, you are essential to this podcast, and you make this podcast. It's a wonderful show because of you and because of Origin and because of the chemistry that you managed to elicit from the people that come on.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. Very kind of you. So, have you got any final words to leave people with?
Enjoy When I Hold You. My daughter's a genius. Check her out. When I keep calling her Holly, and contractually I'm supposed to call her hollyalice.com. So check out hollyalice.com at some stage. Actually, do check it out because she or we did a cover of Eleanor Clyde's, an Eleanor Clyde song called Bad Chemistry, and she's done a first-class job on that. So that's worth checking out. Me, you know where to get me. You can't get rid of me. I'll be on Discord. I'll be on Discord again in a minute. So
there we go. He's going to be right back. Mate, it's been a pleasure taking some time to properly speak to you at length, find out a little bit more about your career. And there's so much more stuff I wanted to ask you as well. Like,
I've got so many stories I could have shared.
Yeah. Well,
I only dropped one name. Come on, I could have dropped.
Yeah, we need to get more names, and I want to hear about all the, like, how much time that you spend. I don't know. We'll sort it out, mate. We'll sort it out. But for now, it's been a pleasure, and also everyone can check out gobirch.co.uk. You'll see there's little stories behind the songs and all sorts of more information, which is great. So yeah, thanks for coming on, man, and I'll see you very soon.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for making me wait 2 more months for your new release.
It'll be worth it, mate. It'll be worth it. The video's something else. I feel I went back to my old primary school and got all the kids involved, so it's going to be a good one.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay, mate. I'll see you soon. Take care. And thank you to everybody listening as well, everybody who's supporting all the New Artist Spotlight playlist people, the artists, the people behind the artists. We love you all, and peace out.
You say.
New Artist Spotlight Podcast.